Good song. Okay, we've got here today with me a special guest, a good friend of mine, Josh Pursche. Josh, welcome to the studios. He is the administrator to the Temple BJs Brewery, and I didn't even know that was the deal there. I go by it all the time. So welcome to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm well. Thanks for having me, Matt. Yeah, we're kind of a well-kept secret right now on the east side of downtown Temple. It's our BJ's brewery, so our main focus there is brewing BJ's beer for all the restaurants that some of you folks out there may be familiar with. We're the biggest brewery in the company. We put out the door, I think this year we're going to clear 16,000 kegs out the door of beer. That doesn't even include our soda. The soda will do about the same amount. So if you include both products, we're about 32,000 kegs this year out the door, which averages 3,000 a month. That keeps
Josh,
us
I
pretty
gotta ask
busy.
this because I didn't know this. I did not know BJ's restaurant was such a big chain. I was looking at the map you had on the wall there at the brewery, and it's like, oh my gosh! And you said on the east side of the Rockies, right? What you see is you're looking at the was the map of Texas.
It's just
or
the map of
United States?
Texas, the one that we have in the
But
actual
that was a
tasting
lot
room.
of places.
That's
man.
about 34 restaurants. Outside of Texas, though, we send soda, we send product all the way to Pennsylvania. Well, we send a lot of beer actually to California, which is where the company's based. But because we're the only brewery who does any can production, we actually have to send that canned product to California to supplement their needs. So within Texas, 30-something restaurants, but outside of the state, we probably hit another 60 or 70 more. So the number of restaurants you saw on that map alone is maybe a third of what we actually cover.
That's really impressive. I've been to other breweries, and I see how it works, and I find it very fascinating. And you took me for a quick tour of the place there, and it's interesting to see. Why don't you tell people if they can get tours?
Sure,
I'm going to
sure.
be jumping all over the place with this interview, okay? So
And definitely, and honestly, like I said, we're kind of a hidden gem. We're a well-kept secret. Not a lot of people know that we're there yet. The ones that do know, they've become regular guests. They like to bring their families. It's a family-friendly environment. We are open for private events. That's just something you would contact me through. We have a Facebook page, which is mainly how I reach out to our clientele. It's the BJ's Brewery Tasting Room Facebook page. That's about all the marketing utensils I have at my that I can use to get our message out there.
well, we're going to try and convince BJ's restaurant chain to maybe be a sponsor. of this
I think
program.
that would be a wonderful idea, and
we could do lots with that.
And the more popular that brewery gets, the more people around town, would definitely be interested in hearing more about it.
I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm impressed. I really am. I mean, you're going down the street and there's this building there. It's well kept, clean looking building, handsome building. But you're like, what is it? What is it? Then I go, are you kidding me? There's a brewery in there? And then all of a sudden, I see you, Josh, on the street. And I'm like, no, get out of here.
Yeah, that
man."
was pretty cool. Yeah, we have people kind of wandering in the door sometimes on our Friday and Saturday nights, kind of wide-eyed, not knowing really what to expect when they get inside. But every time they're blown away by the atmosphere. We've got games and stuff laying around. It's a heated environment, so even now during the cold weather.
Now, I'm going to say it now. I'm going to put the bug out there. I got a system to set up in that place. If management will allow it, we can do some laser firing shooting ranges, have a lot of fun. You can't have guns and alcohol, but you sure as heck can have
I
laser
couldn't think of
guns.
a better place to do it. It's a warehouse environment, but it's very clean. We got the stainless steel tanks there. The taps are nice. It's really an inviting environment that speaks well for the company. But like I said, just not a whole lot of people know about us yet. We've only been there. The tasting room's been open a year and a half now.
I think you said October 2015.
Okay,
right?
yeah, so it's right at 2 years. The brewery itself has been there for about 2.5 years. When they opened the brewery, they had to focus on getting beer to the restaurants. So the tasting room was kind of on the back burner. But once that opened up, man, people started coming in. You can buy BJ's beer to go. So you can get 6-packs or growlers of any of our craft beer. And that's something that you're not going to see anywhere else in Texas for BJ's.
I may be putting you on the spot. No weird stuff here. What does BJ's stand for?
I get that question a lot. I've never gotten a clear answer from anybody in the
Initials
company.
or
I
name or
think it
something?
was just kind of whatever they came up with. It's based under Chicago Brewing is kind of the umbrella over BJ's restaurants. But they started out in California. I think they started one restaurant with a brewery attached to it back in the early 90s, and since then have grown to become the company that they are with well over 300 restaurants nationwide right now. Starting in California is definitely the most dense area for the restaurants, but they have moved east down the south side of the country, and like I said, we send stuff to Pennsylvania, so we're breaking into New England, and
I'm
we're
impressed.
always getting into new states.
I did not realize how many there were. I mean, when you're that big, it was just interesting to me, especially because I know you, and then you showed me around, and I'm thinking I just didn't connect all the dots. Okay.
Yeah, people in Temple are proud to have us there because they know that BJ's is a big company, and so it's really cool that they chose kind of a small town like Temple, Texas, to host their largest brewing operation, and I think it brings a lot of character to the downtown area as well.
Now, when I was
beer is one of those things that goes with Texas.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
and craft beer being a huge industry breaking out right now. We're kind of on the forefront of that.
Speaking of that, when you showed me all the different taps, why don't you guys talk about all the different varieties of beers? Because I know, Trey, you were mentioning, I was mentioning that he let me sample. He asked me what I wanted. I said, just give me something equivalent to a light beer here in
I've tried about 4 of their craft beers. So far, my favorite is the one that's just a step down from your darkest.
Okay.
And the darkest one has a little bit too much bitter to it.
Right. That Tatanka Stout definitely has, we call that IBUs. That is the hoppiness of your beer. So I'm sure most of you out there who drink craft beer know that the IPAs have been the huge trend for the last few years. Those are really hoppy beers. And that turns some people off. And unfortunately, people who typically are used to drinking your lighter domestic style beers, which, I mean, you got to be honest, is the majority of the country. They taste a craft beer that they don't like, and they assume all craft beer is going to be something that they don't enjoy. Yeah. But we have a huge wide range of craft beers, ranging from very light lagers to the darkest stouts you could have. And you come and talk to me, or really any other beer expert, or anybody serving beer, they should be able to pair you up with something that you'll like based on what flavors you enjoy in the beers you drink right now.
If you don't mind, real quick, just for our general knowledge and the listeners at home, kind of run through a basics of what's a lager,
sure,
what's a stout, what's an ale.
I tell you, I give this beer class all the time, and it's really easy. There are basically 2 styles of beer. There are lagers and there are ales. All that is determined by is the type of yeast that you use in your fermentation. Lager yeast is a lower fermenting yeast at colder temperatures, so the fermentation process takes a little bit longer. Those lager style beers tend to be your cleaner, clear, real crisp beers, not a whole lot going on there, versus your ales, which is a top fermenting yeast at a warmer temperature in a shorter period of time. And because it's a faster process, you can actually get a little more punch in your flavors out of that. So your ales and lagers are broken down by the yeast you use. Your ales typically have a more robust body. You can do different things. You can have hoppier beers, maltier beers. Your lagers typically are, like I said, a little bit cleaner. And most people would think that the ales are harder to brew because they're a crazy style beer. They've got a lot of flavor, a lot of body. And it's the opposite. The lagers, because they're a lower fermenting yeast, they take a lot longer to brew. So a good lager beer could take up to 6 months to brew. In fact, our Oktoberfest German style lager, it's a very traditional German lager. We use all German malts. That's a beer that you brew in March, because then you lager it for 6 months so that it's ready in October.
I'm assuming that's a limited amount.
Yeah. And we do that seasonally every year. A lot of the popular brands out there have a lot of Oktoberfest, but it is a very difficult beer to brew. Sometimes your really heavy ales, those are actually more simple for the brewing process and our brewers to make, and that surprises some people because, like I said, it's a more powerful beer.
How far ahead are you of demand? Let me clarify the question.
Okay.
You have to supply a certain amount of locations, and you have to produce so much. I'm assuming, is it like paycheck to paycheck, or is it, hey, I've got a month or two in
That's a good question, and a lot of that depends on the brands. Some brands are higher selling versus other brands. Our really popular brands, we're brewing a couple times a week to keep up with demand. But as far as our inventory is concerned, we probably have about a month's worth of beer ready to ship out the door. But we send that to distributors, so we're not sending directly to individual restaurants. The distributors are getting large loads of our beer, and they distribute to the restaurants for us. So when we're filling an order of 30, 40 pallets worth of kegs. So to keep up with that demand, we have really good relationships with our distributors. Our guys brewing are really good at what they do, and they've been doing it long enough that a lot of it's kind of a feel. You get used to it, and some of it can be seasonal. But our beer cooler is full, but if we weren't brewing, it would be empty in about 2 weeks, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I got a question about the tasting room. Why don't you give people a better idea of what is involved? I mean, does it cost something for them?
Certainly. So the tasting room is open Fridays and Saturdays to the public. By state law, every brewery has to have a tasting room. Our tasting room is open Fridays and Saturdays from 4 to 10. It costs nothing to come in. There's no cover charge. We'll feature live music and a food truck on Friday nights. That's all free to come and enjoy. The only cost is going to be what you decide to drink while you're there. The atmosphere is just like any other bar. You're going to order a beer. We've got taster sets. You can order a pitcher of beer. But a lot of the sales...
Let me ask for clarification, because I know when you asked me what did I want, you gave me a sample glass. When somebody comes in, I'm totally ignorant to this, okay?
Sure.
When somebody comes into the tasting room and they're not sure what they want, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, they can say, I'm not sure what that is, give me a taster glass, and that's for free, and then once they decide they like it, they buy it.
Yeah, and we call that just a SKOSH or a sample. It's a little 1 ounce splash for somebody to try out a certain beer. But if somebody walks in and they're kind of wide-eyed and don't really know what they're doing, first thing I'm going to ask them is, what kind of beer do you usually drink? And honestly, 90% of the time, it's your Bud Lights, your Miller Lights, your Coors Lights. It's those light domestic beers. So the first beer I'm going to pour them is going to be the closest thing I have to that option, which is
was
what
very
you
good,
tasted.
by the way,
Yeah, and it was a gold medal. The Light Switch Lager was a gold medal winner for us at Great American Beer Festival, which is the largest beer competition in the country. They hold it annually in Colorado. And we found some success there with a lot of our craft selections. So the beers that we have, there's going to be plenty that most people won't lean towards, but we have something for everyone. We have those
I'll be honest
light
with
beers.
you, I'm not a beer drinker. I used to be a beer drinker. I'm more of I take a drink with dinner and stuff.
I understand.
That beer was good. I mean, on a hot day.
It's a good beer, and it's a low-calorie, low-carb option, so that's good for people that are, watching their diets and are already drinking a low-calorie, low-carb beer like a Michelob Ultra. We have that available, but then on the other end, for all those heady craft beer guys out there, we've got the stuff that you're looking for. We've got double IPAs, we've got stout beers, and I actually have gotten to where I like blending different styles of beer to come up with some new flavors. And that's been popular too. So you come into the tasting room and you come and talk to me. I'm going to line you up with what you want, something that you're going to like. It may take a few samples. That's all free. We're going to do it the right way, man. We're going to find you something good.
Explain more, Josh, about how somebody could utilize your facilities for a party or something.
Okay.
What does it cost? How long?
No, that's great. That's a great question. That's something I've been trying to market to, Scott and White groups and stuff like that have taken advantage of it. But you would just contact me and we'll work out a date. Because I'm open Friday and Saturday to the public, I would recommend not choosing one of those days because I can't close for a private event. But any other day during the week outside of those business hours, I charge $200 for the space. But your beer sales I include in that $200. So if you wanted to have a private event, whether it be a birthday party, a wedding reception, anything small, anything large, your beer sales go towards that $200. So if you drink $200 of beer, well, now the space is complimentary. So it's very affordable.
Wow,
I have to do that to make sure I don't have 3 guys wanting to come in and watch a football game when no one's there. So I have to set a limit, but that does make it really accessible for anybody out there looking for an affordable private event. Great atmosphere, and you can't beat the beer. The staff is very knowledgeable. We can do music. You can bring in catered food if you like. But yeah, that would just be something you would contact me, and honestly, our Facebook page is one of the best ways to do that.
I'll tell you what. I don't want the time to get away from us. Tell everybody again in a little slower manner how they can get a hold of you, who you are, how you can get a hold of you.
Sure. My name's Joshua Pursche. Our BJs Brewery Tasting Room is a page on Facebook. If you send that page a message, I'm going to be the only one to see it, so you will be contacting me directly that way. I have an email address. I have a cell phone number. Our email there would be Pursche, that's JPURSCHE at bjri.com. But I know that's a mouthful, so just hit that Facebook page. That'd be a lot easier for all of y'all out there to get a hold of me, honestly.
Okay, that's great. What are we missing here that we should be talking about that I've missed?
I would say bring your families. It is a bar atmosphere, but it's a very family-friendly atmosphere. I like to say that I keep the riffraff out. We don't have a lot.
Josh, what's the youngest you could be to go into that location?
Oh, we have 2 or 3-year-olds running around playing Jenga and cornhole. So
Okay.
it's just bring whoever you want. It's very friendly. The staff is good. The clientele's great. People make new friends every time they come to our tasting
I'm
room.
telling you, that Friday night sounds like a great idea for a nice little date night.
It was a
absolutely.
perfect date night. If
Nice
you got a girl who
environment.
likes a beer, bring her in, man. She'll
I'm telling you,
enjoy
Janae
it.
and I are going to be showing up there.
I think you should. We've got great reviews.
What about knickknacks? I know you got like bottles they can buy, cans they can buy.
Okay, yeah. For to-go options, we have your typical growlers, a 64-ounce jug and a 32-ounce jug. We have crowlers, which is a canned version of a growler. We also have
Some people might not
six-packs.
know what that is. Please clarify.
Okay, growler is a glass jug that you're going to fill up your beer with. So you buy a growler, you fill it up at our location, take it home, throw it in your fridge, drink it whenever you want. You bring that growler back. We have a refill price that's a little bit cheaper than that initial price.
And it's kind of like a mason jar where you
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
wire
it's
covered
about
with pressure.
64 ounces, so it's a half gallon. You know, it's got a
Pretty
little
good.
handle on
It's pretty
it.
neat.
Yeah, yeah. But we also have a canned version of that, which is a one-time use, but it's a little bit cheaper option for you. And we have 6-packs of 5 of our brands and a couple seasonals here and there. And I think price per ounce, the 6-pack is your best way to go. Plus, those cans will stay good a little bit longer in the fridge. They won't go flat like a growler would, you know, sitting for a couple of weeks. But
And ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you, it's impressive. It's impressive because you don't know it's there. And it's that little neat place, hole in the wall, off a side street in downtown Temple. And so you could drive right past and not even know it's there.
I'll tell you what, if you don't know about it yet, you will, because we're getting very popular, and everybody who comes in, they come back and they bring more people. So it's something that we're looking forward to watch grow over time.
Well, this show is all about alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, man. I've already got somebody for the tobacco,
Yeah.
Black Label. I've got firearms. I got A&C. We'd love to have you, Josh.
I'd love to be more of a part of this. You guys are great, and I appreciate the time y'all allowed me to come here and share what we have.
And
You
here's
know,
the other-
and I'm maybe just spitballing here, but that'd make a great spot for a live remote.
There you go.
Absolutely, buddy.
It would.
Absolutely. Now, we're also going to have this on video on Aaron's Gun Shop's YouTube channel, so you can check out the video again. Also, I'll have it posted on my Facebook page. Josh, you're more than, if this helps you out, link it to your Facebook or whatever, and you can review this and hear what he's got to say. But don't forget, and if you missed his email, I'll tell you what, one more time, give it to him, because I know there's people listening that are writing it down and they just don't know how to get to it.
J Pursche, that's JPURSCHE. It's just like Porsche with a U, and that's at BJRI.com.
Fantastic.
But again, the Facebook page, hit me up there. It'd be way easier.
Now, I got a trick question for
Yeah.
you. Have you been practicing shooting?
A little bit, yeah. My buddy and I, before I got married, we did some, he bought 2 or 3 new ARs, a couple of handguns, and I'm blessed with my family having some land out here in Rogers that we tend to go out there. It's nothing, we're not competitive or anything, but we do fire off some rounds from time
Every
to time.
second Friday of the month, you need to come here.
I
man.
was
Do our
thinking
round
about that
robin.
on the way
You
here.
need to
I
do it.
can't believe I haven't done that yet, and he's right up that alley. So
How long ago
we'll
was it you
bring
took
him
the
in.
course from me?
I think we're looking at 10 years, man.
Wow, that's been
It
a
was
while.
at least 2007, 2008, so.
Okay. Well, I got a lot more tricks up my sleeve that I can teach you.
I can't wait.
All right, everybody. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have Master Cindy Key doing her thing, and then we'll close it up with some parting thoughts, and we'll wrap the show up. So we'll be back on the other side. Josh, I can't thank you enough for
Thanks,
coming
Matt.
out.
I appreciate it.
Take care.
Cappuccino,
That's
Awesome, dude.
Let's do
Oh,
it
yeah.
again, dude. Yeah.